Whether you're a small company or a large organization, a nonprofit or a church, employee engagement really matters. Here's an interesting statistic about the way in which employee engagement is actually perceived. Some recent studies indicate that more than 80% of leaders and managers believe they're doing a really good job in engaging employees, and yet when you ask the employees, about 20% really feel like leaders and managers are caring well for them. So what is employee engagement? It's the strength of the connection employees feel towards their places of work, those in leadership roles, and fellow colleagues. It is the emotional commitment the employee has to the organization. And many of those things are important and many are key, but the emotional piece is the most important one. It's the way that an employee feels from the heart. It's the way that they emotionally connect to the person that's supervising them, their colleagues, and the mission of the organization. Engaged employees care deeply for the organization, the nonprofit or the church, and their care actually translates to goals not only accomplished, but exceeded. So why engagement? Well, there's 5 things I want to share with you. Here's the first one. Engagement increases productivity and profitability. And if you think about it just from an organizational perspective, those 2 things really matter. You've got to have the finances you need to continue, but you also want the productivity from the employee. And when you engage with them, their productivity and profitability actually increases. Number 2, engagement deepens employee connectivity. Here's what I mean by that. Employees come to work, they come to the church they're serving, they come to a nonprofit, and there's a connectivity that happens when they feel engaged. First to the leader or supervisor, but secondly to their colleagues, and then ultimately, and probably the most important, to the clients that they serve. Number 3, engagement strengthens customer service. It's really focusing on the people that you serve and the clients that are a part of your business. So as a nonprofit, who are you caring deeply about? In a church, who are the people coming to your church? And as a business, who are the clients that are either taking advantage of or purchasing your services? And number 4, engagement gives employees increased purpose. It's actually my favorite one. I want my employees and staff to come to work, to church, to a nonprofit, and love what they do. To love the people they work with, to love the mission of the organization and the product that they create. And here's the last point. Engagement saves money. Studies actually prove that the deeper an employee is engaged to the work and the purpose they do, the more money it saves for the business or organization and the more profitable it becomes. Let me suggest 5 steps to engagement. Number 1, start. Start somewhere. If you're doing nothing, do something. If you're doing something, become more purposeful in it. The second thing you can do is cultivate. Make sure that the culture of your organization, your church staff, your nonprofit is the highest priority of work that you do. Invest in it. Ask people about it. Cultivate it. The third step is care. Every employee, every person on your team should know that they're cared by someone. If you're managing 3 or 4 people, it's reasonably easy to care for all of them. But if you've got a team of 50, 60, 100, if you've got 15 direct reports, it's almost impossible to provide the level of care that each employee needs. So make sure that each employee knows that there is a connection point to care within the organization. So here's a fun one. It's food. Food has this ability to bring people together. It's a way in which people can celebrate. So I don't know, maybe you do donuts once a month. Maybe you celebrate people's birthdays. Maybe you give out gift cards to encourage people to try new restaurants in your community. But I will tell you this, food is something people love, and it's a way to celebrate your employees and your staff. And lastly, challenge. You want to be creating new opportunities and challenges for employees so that they're not getting bored in their job. One of the studies that came out showed that as employees go longer in their position, they become more bored and less productive. So you want to be looking at each employee and asking yourself, how can I challenge them in the next project? How can I challenge them to rise up and lead in a way that they may have not led before? I love this trucking company because of what they have on the side of their trucks. Our most valuable resource sits here. You might not be a trucking company, but you've got to find a way for your employees to know that this is what you believe about them, that they are your most important resource. There's a lot to unpack in this video. And so maybe you'll ask yourself this question: what can I do today? What can I do right now to make my employee engagement better, deeper, and more productive? Hey, thanks for watching.